Hello, I'm Heather Butler, the Social Sciences and History Librarian here at South. And today I want to look for case studies in anthropology or archaeology. All right, so I'm going to use Google Scholar to look for case studies. I have to make sure that Google Scholar knows who I am, that I am a South Alabama affiliated person. You can do this by either having your Jagmail account open in another tab of the same browser, or the best way to do it is to just make sure that you are logged in to Google Scholar, that it recognizes your Jagmail account, and then it'll know that you have access to not only things that are just free online for everybody, but you can also access things that the library pays for us to be able to have access to. All right, so whenever I'm looking for case studies, one of the things that can help is actually just putting in the term case study. This is because in a lot of abstracts, which should be very good descriptions of the contents of an article, they should say in here, in this case study, or this case study. They should identify their work as either being completely a case study or involving a case study. So we're going to have a first thing with case study. It's in quotes, of course, because I want to know that case study is bolted together. That is a a phrase that I specifically want to look for. All right, so for first we are going to do and. So I'm just saying that I want to find things that include both of these terms. So our first example that we're going to look for is Black feminist archaeology. All right, and so if Black feminist archaeology, if the phrase did not already include archaeology, I would probably want to add another and have that as archaeology. Another thing that I might want to do is if I'm looking for specifically bioarchaeology, I could try adding that and bioarchaeology. And this is when we do our first check where we just hit enter and we see what comes up. Okay, great. So I have options if I want to limit things by the date, and I can see I have 71 results, and anything that I am able to immediately access, then I will have a link to the side that says either I can go directly to a PDF or I can access this through the libraries. If there is not any option beside an entry, I can still always get it by using interlibrary loan. But for this one, let's click on and look at, so we can see in here, it says as a case study. So, all right, so let's do a little bit of a different one where we are using the name of a kind of theory, and then we have to specify that we want it applied to archaeology. So for this, let's use object biography and archaeology or bioarchaeology. All right, we have 1,010 results. Something you might want to do is just limit it down if we already have a bunch of things to look at. So we have the case study for this paper. Oh, let's look at that. And then one of the things that we can do if we ever want to find the theory that is related to this case study, that should be something that gets discussed in the introduction of a paper, or if there is a specific literature review section. Both of those should establish this is the theory that I am using in my paper. That's where the author should say that kind of information. So just make sure that you always have the kind of subject, the context that you're looking for, the kind of theory or just way of doing a study that you want to look for, and that you also say case study. All right, great. Good luck.